Okay, so when you think about planning a trip to Korea, I want you to just, for a moment, throw out your usual itinerary.
Yeah, forget the Myeongdong shopping sprees, the palaces.
Right, even put BTS on pause for a second.
Yeah.
We've been looking through this stack of research that suggests a much more authentic way to understand the peninsula.
And it's through a traditional weapon, which sounds a little aggressive, but it's not.
It's actually incredibly poetic. We're talking about Gukgung traditional Korean archery.
Exactly. But this isn't just about the sport. The idea is to use the archery grounds, the Hwalteo, as like waypoints on a map.
A travel guide built around a sport. And it's not just a local thing. I was reading about Francois Bontemps, the former Belgian ambassador.
He was a huge proponent of this. He basically said that if you really want to understand the Korean spirit, you have to pick up the bow and visit these specific places.
He called it an emotional journey.
It is, and when you look at the map, you see why. There are these 4 distinct routes, and they completely change how you experience the country. The first one is heavy, though.
This is the first tour, right? The one that has the DMZ.
It's that 155-mile armistice line. You start at Gangwon in Incheon and just move right across those border regions.
Paju, Yeonshin, Inji. Places you hear about in these for very different reasons.
Exactly. And, it has to be intense. Korea is the only divided nation left in the world. So when you stand at a Hwalteo there, like Holenjong and Chuncheon, you're not just looking at scenery.
You're confronting that division head on.
You really are. The tension of pulling back a bowstring, it sort of mirrors the tension of the border itself.
And the research pointed out a fascinating detail about who actually keeps these ranges going.
The soldiers.
Yeah, professional soldiers. They rotate bases every few years, which keeps the archery circles really small, intimate, and disciplined.
It connects the sport's martial origins to the current reality. It's a world away from a typical tourist attraction.
Okay, so if the North is all about tension, the East Coast route seems like a complete release.
It's a total vibe shift. This is National Route 7, the Sunrise Route.
You're driving from Goseong all the way down to Ulsan. The vibe is just romantic. The pictures look amazing.
They are. You've got mountains crashing right into the sea. You can be at a pavilion like Suseonjong and you feel like you're shooting arrows straight into the sunrise.
Wow.
But there's a surprising stop on this route, and that's Ulsan.
Ulsan, I thought that was just a massive industrial hub.
Yeah.
Shipyards, factories, that kind of thing.
That's what most people think. But for an archer, for a Hanryang, it's a pilgrimage site.
Because of the petroglyphs, right? The Bangude petroglyphs.
You got it. These are prehistoric rock carvings. They show people whaling, hunting, and crucially, archery. It grounds this modern industrial city in thousands of years of history.
A connection you would completely miss otherwise.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got tension in the north, romance in the east. But the West Coast route, I think this is where I'd spend my time. It's described as a rejuvenating journey, but honestly, it just sounds like a giant food tour.
Well, you're not wrong. To really get the West Coast, you have to understand the term Hanryang.
Which today just means archer, more or less.
Yeah, but historically, a Hanryang was an aristocrat who wasn't in office. They dedicated their lives to the arts, martial skills, and, enjoying life.
The leisure class.
Pretty much. And Gukgung isn't just about shooting, it's about the whole lifestyle. On the West Coast, you have these massive tidal flats, so you can't just shoot any time.
You have to wait for the tides.
And what do you do while you wait?
You eat.
Yeah.
The guide lists, blue crabs, fresh clams, webfoot octopus.
It's a perfect combination. You connect geography to gastronomy. You shoot a few arrows, watch the sunset over the mudflats, and then have the best seafood of your life.
That sounds incredible. And the South Coast just kind of rounds it all out.
Yeah, that's the Dodohe Archipelago. It's milder, filled with islands. It's the scenic finale.
So, to zoom out a bit for our listener, what's the big takeaway here? Especially for someone who wants to see Korea beyond the top 10 lists.
I think the takeaway is that Korea's geography really dictates the emotion of the travel.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. The country is blocked by land on one side. That's your tense DMZ route.
And it's surrounded by the sea on the other 3 sides.
But each sea offers a totally different feeling. The deep sunrise waters of the east, the rich, patient tidal flats of the west, and the calm, scattered islands of the south.
So the land itself is writing the itinerary. If you follow the bow, you're following the topography, and that pulls you off the highway and into the real culture.
It forces you to slow down. I mean, you can't rush a shot in archery, and you can't rush these routes. It's the antithesis of fast travel.
I love that. So maybe it's time to grab a bow or at least a map and find your own route. Thanks for this deep dive.